Alright everyone, so I know what you're thinking. Butt pads, really undialed. That's exactly what we're doing today. You know what we're using? We're using some needle, some string, measuring tape, more needles, some fabric, some Velcro, some scissors, some foam, and some very inexpensive underwear. So, today I'm going to be doing butt pads. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how this video is going to turn out. I'm not a sewer-ist. I literally have no clue what I'm doing, so you can also do this and also have no idea what you're doing, and it might turn out good, it might not. Luckily, I have some cheap underwear and I don't have to worry about breaking them or ruining them. So, first off, we're gonna start, draw some stuff. Oh, and you need a Sharpie. So, pretty much my idea is that I'm gonna measure, so let's say 9 inches, right? So 9 inches, I'm gonna measure that, and then go 9 inches, and then 5 inches, and then back to 9. I'm gonna cut 2 pieces out like that, and then I'm gonna use the foam, and I'm gonna put it inside and then like sew it together, and then I'm gonna cut this Velcro out to where it's like that, that, and that, and then do the other side onto the fabric once it's actually fully sewn on, and just attach it like that. Might work, might not. We'll see how she goes. So let's get started. All right, so I'm gonna do kind of like a trapezoid type shape, and literally I'm using a Sharpie on this, and then gonna bring this down like so. 9 inches. I'm kind of just guesstimating right now. So pretty much I'm gonna draw this out. That doesn't work. Now I'm gonna cut it out of the fabric. I'm actually gonna have to cut like 4 of these out, and these scissors suck. Got the first trapezoid done. I'm gonna have to do 4. Pretty much it's gonna look that of some sorts. So it should fit. I think I'm gonna have to make the other one a little bit bigger just so I can actually like be able to fit the foam in. So now I'm just gonna cut out 4 more, and I guess you'll see it when it's done. I have these cut out. I kind of messed up by not mirroring them. So as you can tell, they're both the same color, but I think it'll actually work out because it'll make it so this is the like outside side, so it'll kind of fit like that, and then that would be the inner side, so that way you'll kind of know like where the actual stuff's gonna be. So it should work. I'm gonna start stitching this up. Well, first I'm actually gonna stitch probably this white since it'll match my underwear. I'm gonna stitch the white Velcro to this back piece on both sides. I'm gonna get that all situated, and then I think later on is when I'm gonna stitch it to the actual underwear. Here's where the middle is, and you have the like soft side, and then you have the more rough side. So I'm gonna kind of like even them up just a little bit. So probably like right there, it's fine. It's a little hard to cut. Got this. I think I'm gonna use the like softer side for this. So I'm gonna stitch it, and for the stitching part, if you guys don't know how to stitch, you can look up tutorials on YouTube and stuff like that, but I'll give you a Clayton tutorial. Might not be the best tutorial, but I'll give it my best. Pretty much what you want to do is you get your needle. There's like a little hole at the top. I don't know if you can see that. And you just feed that through. Might have to get it like a little wet just so you can like, then what you want to do is kind of tie like a knot in it, which is kind of difficult because the string's so small, and the string just kind of like moves around on its own. It's more aggravating than anything. You just kind of like play with it and then just bring it down, tie her tight, like that. I'm gonna trim off just a little bit so that way it's not like, so I don't get confused on which side's which. I feel like these are just gonna be a disaster. So I'm gonna bring it about that far, and then I'm gonna cut the end. And so what I'm gonna do now is bring this through. I have no idea how you're supposed to like actually like sew this on, so like I said in the beginning, I'm kind of just guessing, so don't get mad if you know how to do this better than me. If you know how to do this better than me, you're one step ahead of me. I brought it through that side, now I'm gonna push it through this side, which is actually like pretty difficult because this plastic is pretty strong. So I'm gonna like just use the table to push it through. Now you have to kind of tie it, which I'm not entirely sure on how I'm gonna do this. I'm kind of just gonna guess like I have been. What I'm doing now is, since I have like it going through, and what you want to do is you want to have it to where it's actually going to be tight enough to fully hold it in place without it like coming undone. So I'm going to pull this tight, get like a little bit of string, and then what I'm going to do is flip it over. Then I'm going to use this last little piece of string and tie it before. If you guys didn't know, sewing is pretty much all like pretty much what you're doing the entire time is you're pretty much just tying knots the whole time. Got the first, gonna get the second. It's a little bit difficult. Okay, so I got the first one. It's kind of tied down. Now all I'm gonna do is weave it in and out. All right, so I got the first one down. As you can tell, I'm a professional. Looks so good. Perfect. Well done, Clayton. I know, don't tell me. So now this is kind of the part I always get confused on, is how to tie it. There's probably 20,000 different ways of tying the actual needle on. Sewing and whatnot is you have to tie a knot in the first part just so you have like a solid anchor. So I just finished up. Now looking back on it, or I probably should have stayed closer whenever I was doing all this, but I don't care. We all learn from our mistakes. So I'm gonna cut this and then tie a knot in it, and then I'm gonna start doing the actual pad itself. So I'm gonna cut out the foam and kind of guesstimate on how it's going to work exactly, because I still haven't figured that out yet fully. So once I get to that point, we'll get back to you then. When I was in first grade and I did my first and only sewing project, it was on a pillow. So I kind of have a little bit of experience with like putting foam in after sewing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this corner right here and I'm gonna sew this part first. So it's gonna be like better stitching than what this is, don't worry. And then what I'm gonna do is do that, and then once that's done, I'm gonna flip it inside out and then sew it from inside out. Once I'm like almost done, I'm gonna flip it and then finish sewing it. So that way the seams are all inside, so that way it's not gonna be outside, so that way I'll have a little bit more room to play with. I'm gonna start doing this. And you kind of already know the steps on how to sew everything, so I'll just show you guys once it's done. I'm finishing up the first like stages of the stitch, like the stitching for the padding. I just finished up the stitching. It would be easier if you had a sewing machine, but I do not have a sewing machine, so I'm doing it by hand. So I know it's not the best, but hey, it's working. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it towards like this, like so. That doesn't look that bad. And then what I'm gonna do now is stitch the inner part. Sew the inner part like so, because the whole idea is that once I'm finished, it's gonna look how this looks. And then the only ugly part is gonna be this part that I stitched. And then everything else is gonna look. So I'm gonna stitch this all up right now. And then once I'm done, I'll start cutting this up, and then you guys will see me fit the padding. Then we'll start putting it onto the boxers. All right, so now for the difficult part. I'm now gonna get the foam and I'm gonna kind of cut out what I'm guesstimating to be the right size. I might have to trim it up a little bit, but I'm gonna hopefully get the right size. So on this foam, it is 1 by 12 by 12. So it's 1 inch by a foot and a foot. So square foot. So I'm gonna cut it out roughly. I'm gonna kind of just guess. I'm gonna have to make it, of course, smaller than the actual shape, because I want it to be able to fit in there once I'm done sewing it all together. So it's a new day, as you can tell. We got a little lazy afterwards, and my hands started hurting pretty bad. So what we're gonna do is, now I'm gonna cut out the foam, and I'm thinking that I'm literally just gonna guesstimate of where I need to cut it, and then kind of just stuff it in and hope for the best. All right. First one, and then I'm gonna put this in here. I think that should be good, because all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna literally sew this up to where it's like that, trim it, and then I'm gonna attempt to sew it onto the actual Calvin Klein. I'm not sure at all how I'm gonna do all this, but don't worry, we're all figuring it out as I go. So this can either be a disaster or it's gonna turn out really good. Because honestly, if these are like stable enough, I actually might wear these someday to ride. It probably could be a little bit bigger, but I don't care. I don't care at all. So I'm gonna put that in there. Now I'm gonna stitch this closed, and I'll get back to you guys once I'm done stitching it. I'm gonna trim this on up. It's obviously not the best stitching, because I am not a professional stitcher person. I'm a professional scooter rider, so don't get too mad at me. So the idea is I'm gonna have one that you use Velcro with, and then one that's gonna be just stitched on. So I'm just gonna like have it on like this, and this is probably gonna be the first one I'm gonna do. I'm literally just gonna have it like that, place it like that. I'm gonna put like a few stitches on the side, but I'm gonna like just double check that that's gonna be in the right spot. Yeah, so it's gonna be like right there. I'm just gonna stitch it along this so it's held on a little bit better. We'll see what she looks like. Finishing up the like final little steps, and I will say this is actually like kind of difficult. Sew this on to like the actual boxers itself, but it's a learning experience for everyone. So I learned my lesson of like what I need or what I should and shouldn't do. Let me finish tightening this really fast, and then I can show you what they look like, because I actually at this point don't even know what they're gonna look like. So we're all gonna be in for a surprise. It might turn out really good, or it might turn out just insanely bad. So this first one, it's actually not that bad. Save your hips a little bit, so then you can kind of like trim off the sides if you want to. I mean, I think it looks fine. The inside is like that. It's not too bad, not too bad. Now, for the difficult part, I am going to attempt, not sure how well it's gonna actually go, but I'm gonna attempt to sew this Velcro on. So this one's gonna be kind of difficult, because if I get it off, then that just means I have to like take it off and readjust it. So I'm gonna try to get it as precise as possible, and I'm gonna be using the Sharpie. These Calvin Kleins are gonna be no use anymore, so if you guys are trying to get these from me for whatever reason, you're probably not gonna get them. We'll tune in once I'm having more trouble with this, once I figure out what I'm doing. So just like everything else we've done in this video, I'm literally gonna guesstimate on where I need to put the Velcro at. Hopefully it'll work. And the reason why I'm ruining these is because I personally don't think they're comfortable, and I don't want to take them back to Calvin Klein, so I'm just doing this. I'm just gonna sew this on really quick, and then I'll get back to you guys once I'm done sewing. This video has taught me that I never want to sew again. If you want to make your own hip pads, I would say probably get better fabric, a little bit thicker of foam, and then you'll probably be good. This is the final like outcome. So I ended up just sewing this on because it made me super mad. The Velcro is kind of a pain more than anything, so it's just hard to get the needle through. It's not the best in the world, but hey, now I can say I've made butt pads. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. We will see you tomorrow. And also, make sure to like this video if you liked it. If you don't like it, I guess still like it. And then make sure to hit the subscribe button and comment down below if you like the video or not. Maybe probably never make this video again, but if you like it, we'll probably still not never make it. So, thank you guys. Talk to you later. See ya. Pretty sure this stitching is just gonna rip. Oh, no. Well, I already ripped that stitching off. But hey, if you're gonna fall, look at this. Just nothing. Don't feel a thing. So if you wanna make your own hip pads, hey, you can. Just put them under your pants and probably stitch it better. And don't use your hand. I would say like use an actual sewing machine, so then it'll actually be good and not look like this. But we learned our lesson. If you guys even like make this, we'll probably repost it on our Instagram, because I will give you credit for sitting down and spending time doing this. So if you end up making it, we'll probably repost it. And if you don't make it, then just keep watching our videos.